So we went out of town sourcing shoes, and we found some great deals and some awesome value and had a lot of fun doing it.
And here we are. Mark your calendars. Prof is doing a haul video. No.
This never happens, but I hope you stick around so we can show you what we found, and maybe you can figure out some ways to find some great profitable items in your area. So welcome to the Prof Sales YouTube channel. I'm Prof Sales.
And I'm Just Ask Kaaren.
And this channel is all about reselling, being an entrepreneur, being in business for yourself, selling on e-commerce platforms like eBay and Amazon, and also staying positive and building just a cool, positive community here in our little corner of YouTube.
Take a breath.
Whew. But we're glad you're here. There's a live chat going on right now. So if you want to join in, or if you already are in that chat room, you can leave us a question or comment. But if you want to join in the conversation after this video will post down below, you can leave a question or comment. And also be sure to check out the description for all kinds of helpful links if you want to sell, if you want to be a business person, be an entrepreneur yourself, all kinds of cool stuff there in the description.
You are just like not breathing today. You're just talking.
I am. I'm a talker, it turns out.
So look, we have a question already. Let's just take it right out of the gate. So Gina, thanks for asking. Rugby was rough. It ended up in a draw. The final score was 19-19, and in rugby that can happen. But arguably they are the two best teams and will probably be up against each other at the end of the season here at the state champs. And Jason was there. He got to see it. It was a hard-fought battle, man. Oh, my goodness.
So thank you guys for jumping in today. And we are doing the show on a Sunday, which is unusual for us.
Yes.
Very unusual. You're like, yes, it is.
So we're just sitting around doing nothing. No. So Friday, we ended up taking, after the rugby match, we ended up taking my son Ben to a church camp way up into the mountains, far, far away. And I had this crazy idea, one, I would have been getting home at like 3 in the morning if I drove all the way there and back by myself. So I said, hey, Prof, why don't we turn it into like a fun time? And if that's not enough, we can work and source on the way home. And lo and behold, he took me up on it. And so we were able to turn that trip into a profitable business trip as well, which is kind of what this talk will be all about, is making the most of whatever your situation is. Like if you're, at the holidays, you go to visit family in another area, go check it out. I had a business trip to Minnesota back last year, and I actually turned that into a sourcing. I got to meet our dear friend Lauren finally in person, and I ended up leaving my own clothes behind in the hotel room so that I can bring things that I sourced. So I guess in retrospect, plan ahead if you're going to do that so you have a way to ship or bring things back. But it's all about opportunity and creating and making the most of every situation, right?
Yes, it is. And we'll be glad to answer any questions you guys have about reselling, shoes, whatever. And we're also just going to share with you guys some things we found yesterday, which would be cool because we did post on Instagram, which you can see a link to Instagram down below this video in the description. But we did post on Instagram and talk about a couple places we went. We went to, I don't know, we went to probably about, what do we figure, 8 or 9 stores. It felt like 80 or 90 after a while.
Yeah, by the time the day was over, we started at like 8 in the morning and didn't get home until, what, 7 o'clock?
It's about 6 or 7, and it's normally like a 3-hour drive.
3-hour tour.
Oh, nice. See what you did there. But we will definitely show you guys some things we got. As some of you know, we have started changing our business model. Not even a little bit, kind of a lot of it. We talked about some good strategy yesterday in the car too, which we can.
Yeah, and we when we're in the car, when Jason has a captive audience, when I can't leave the room. No, I'm just kidding. So the only thing that we do wrong when we're brainstorming and creating and recreating is we're not really good about taking notes.
Got to write it down. You'll forget it.
And if you follow our journey through the day, like with the Insta posts and everything, we were a little silly. Yeah. Like Friday to Saturday, it was just.
So we're going to jump into content here in a minute. But before we do that, I just want to shout out a couple questions and things people are talking about in the chat. All kinds of people here. Michelle's here. Sadie's here. Game Central. Jennifer asked about getting magic marker off the bottom of a worn leather dress shoe sole. That's a challenge.
Magic marker?
Yeah.
You can try. I mean, there's all sorts of different things you can try. The nail polish remover is a little harsh.
Yeah,
and it sometimes will take the finish off. It'll take anything off.
Yeah, it'll take it off, all of it.
But that awesome cleaner does well. Anything with Delimaline, which is a carpet cleaning, wonderful thing. Grandma's Instance, wonderful magic super stain remover.
Yes.
What did she do that for?
I don't know. That's awesome, though.
Oh, Zeno, we miss you so much. Thank you for the super chat. Where the heck have you been? It says, thank you for all you guys do for the reselling community.
You're very welcome.
Your ears must be ringing because we have been talking about you, of course, positively.
In a good way.
Yes, to each other. And then you were missed at the last meetup for sure. So maybe when we get off here, we can have a real conversation, like on the phone.
Yes, thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
Thank you.
Much, much appreciated. Some other people had, Lisa Melendez says she listed her first item after watching our video. So thank you so much. Well, that's awesome, Lisa. Good for you.
So Lisa, you got to keep us posted on that item as well as your evolution into reselling, because we love to keep up with and see how people progress. Gugon will also help with that. Sometimes a pencil eraser as far as getting stuff off the bottom of the shoe. There's myriad things you can do that work well.
Robin says, outsourcing with hubby. We're relatively new, been watching for a while, you guys, for last year. Well, welcome to the channel. Says she's been trolling, watching. It's not trolling unless you're saying bad things. You weren't saying bad things.
No, if you say it with a smile on your face. And that's one of the things. So one of the things we brainstormed, and we're totally going to do this, and maybe you guys can help us come up with a title. But every now and then, it's rare because this is a positive place for us all to come. We'll kind of get the not so nice comment or question or just nonsense, and so we think that we're going to start maybe highlighting some of this in a sort of ironic, I don't know. We're just going to do something funny with it. Yeah.
More about that as we get it up or get that situated. All right. Yes. Spooky Hearts. This is live. So Spooky Hearts was that. Of course, if you're watching this later, it won't be.
Hey, Spooky. It's been a while. How are you?
All right. So let's talk about the day and what we got. So we started out the day. We were in Asheville, North Carolina, basically, or we were close to Asheville. Or I guess we were. We started the day at Whole Foods because
Whole Foods, come on.
But anyway, but we went and we got something to eat, of course, and just got prepared. And we looked around. We just literally, I love to take like the Google Maps. Oh. It's not even the Google Maps. It's the Apple Maps app on the iPhone. And when I'm searching for a type of place, I just type that in. So I wanted to see if they had any Plato's Closets nearby. They had any Marshalls nearby. I knew they had other thrift stores and so on, Goodwill, so on. So we started the day at a Plato's Closet, right?
Yes.
Yes, we did. We did.
It's all a blur.
We did. And it was kind of in downtown well, I don't know if I'd call that downtown.
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a downtownish, sure.
Yeah, and they were definitely a bit more expensive on just their clothes in general. Even more expensive in Charlotte, which I found interesting.
Yeah, their shoes were a little ridiculous, TBH.
Yeah, their shoe prices were insane. So
they were basically eBay prices. Like really.
Yeah, they really were.
So for a reseller, those stores, no.
That particular one. Well, not Plato's in general.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. Rewind.
So next door to that was a Tuesday morning.
Yep, which you've not really done.
I have not been in Tuesday morning very often. For those of you who don't know about Tuesday morning, it's sort of a bargain place where they it's more of a retail store, though. It's not a thrift store per se, but they bring things in. They're like last year's and closeouts and so on and try to sell them there. So we went into a Tuesday morning for the first time probably ever, at least as a reseller. And we found some interesting things there that we may use to expand out our brand new push into Amazon. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Amazon is part of this year's strategy, and I got to share that Mindly thing with them on screen, but I can't do it right now because I don't have it here.
Well, and you said we were going to talk about the Amazon stuff another time when we could.
Yes,
really
and we will. So we were looking at some Amazon stuff in there, not so much shoes and so on and like that. But it was right there in the same thing, so we did we did go in it.
And the point of that is that if you're ever, whether you're local or you're on a trip or whatever, if there's something you don't know about, if it's a store you've never been in, go in, check it out. There's always opportunity for RA, retail arbitrage, or maybe thrifting or whatever. And Jason brought up that he uses that map app, but you can use Google, do like thrift stores near me. And then we also rely heavily on Yelp reviews too. If it's a town you've never been into and if you're worried about, your safety, or if you're worried about, if it's a good place or not, or, you can go Google review, and then Yelp will give it.
Yeah, you'll get a feel. You'll at least get an idea. If you see the same comment over and over, chances are that's probably legit. Yeah. If somebody's saying, like, if you see it, one comment, somebody had a bad experience. But if you keep seeing the same one over and over, it's like, that's probably reality. Mm-hmm. But from there, we actually went to a Marshall's. So Marshall's is a great store. Like, I love going. I'm always so optimistic when I go in Marshall's. I don't know why.
Well, that's because they got a lot of stuff.
And
like
Kaaren,
and it's like, whoa.
Kaaren is a kind of a relatively new to this whole, I guess, new shoe game. Is that the right word? I don't know.
It's a word.
It's a word. She's not going to agree with me. She's like, I'm not new at all. But Marshall's has a lot of last year's and discontinued items and things like that, especially when it comes to shoes. So we found, I guess should we do it now as we're talking about it? Or do you want to wait?
I mean, why not?
All right.
Let's start.
These were Marshall's.
Does it really matter?
Marshalls. Yeah, the first Marshall's.
All right, fine.
So that particular one, can you tell me the number on that? So you guys might know this trick. So this is a Under Armour shoe. And you can do this with a lot of them. But a lot of these shoes have a little number inside on the tag. And I'm going to try to show it to you.
Can you show it to them? Yep. So it's the art number.
You got to get it up.
I know what I need to do. I got to go this way. Yeah. So you see, like, right there. Oh, my hands. Yeah. Where I cut my hand.
Yep.
So, and then you see also at the end, there's a dash 007. That's the color.
So what number was that one?
Well, ask them. They saw it.
No, I can't. You can just
125 7447.
So if you type that in the number, that article number into eBay, and you could type the color code too, but sometimes one of the color hasn't been sold recently. But it's going to come up and show you like that's a boot, and I'm going to see if I can find that exact.
Didn't they actually call it like a hiking boot or something silly? Like it was some weird thing.
Yeah, like you can see this particular one. Is this the one? Yeah, like you can see somebody listed that one for $109, right? So that's the same shoe. So what we did is we went in and we just said, all right, it's condition of new. There's 93 listed, that number. And then how many sold are there? And you can see that. Let's see if I can.
This one is different because it's like that one, but it's not this color bottom.
Right. It's a little different color bottom. It's got like an orange bottom on it, which is kind of interesting, I think.
Yeah.
It's a really white sharp with an orange bottom. Now I can't even find it. 125. Yeah.
This is the dash 007.
Oh, the dash 007. Oh, I'm looking at the. Yeah. And I don't see this particular color in there. And so that gets a little tricky sometimes to figure out, well, should I buy this shoe? Is it really worth it? Yeah, I don't see that particular one in there. No. So you got to kind of find one that's near it. But here's what's interesting, guys. Like when I look at like all the listings of this shoe, you can see that like they're all like decent price. They're all like $80 to $80 to $100, just sort of depending on, which one you're talking about. And yes, they include free shipping, a lot of them. But that particular shoe was $32. Mm-hmm. So I kind of figured out, this is how I kind of do the math. And plus, we'll tell you another reason we bought this one. So even if you only sold it at $80, the item cost is after taxes is probably about $34. And your shipping cost is going to be roughly around $10. It kind of depends on where it goes and what your values are. So you can see, like even if it was at $80, it would still come out to be a $26 profit. I don't know if you guys can see that.
And how many pair of jeans is that, Prof?
Well, that's like 2.6 pair of jeans, each one. but we had to spend $32 for each one too. But my point was, I told Kaaren, I said, because we're kind of trying to figure out, like, when does it make sense to buy a new pair of shoes and when does it not? And I kind of take the rule. I said, I think you should have to try to 1x your money. Mm-hmm. That's what I really want to do. So if we spend $25 for something, I want to make at least 25. Now in this case, we're spending 32 or 34 when we might only make 26. But as you can see,
we bought 5.
Yeah, you can see there are. I'll see if I can tilt this down.
Can you?
There are 5 of them. So the reality is that that setting there is, 5 times 26, which is 125, 150 bucks. So that's quite a bit of money sitting there. And we've only got to do one listing and just put in the various sizes. So we kind of bought them out. I mean, yeah, it was, it was $171 with tax, those 5 shoes, but we should net almost that much on them, if not more. Like the $80 price is like the bottom of the range. So that's kind of what I figured at. So I was willing to take a risk on that, and some of them will set for a while, but they're all in great shape. We know they're all new. There's nothing to do with them. And like somebody, Game Central said, $150 and no extra work. Exactly. One listing, one set of photos, done.
And one of the things, and we should probably throw in the pro tips about some of the things we noticed.
Do we have pro tips? Are we pros?
Yeah, no. But there's some things to say about how we sort of quality controlled these in the moment, similar to what we do. But before I say that, they're all different sizes for the most part too. Like we didn't get all size 10,
right? And
that's on purpose, and maybe my fault / pressure. But the biggest one is a size 15. And I'd like to think that there's a size 15 out there that will
pay $115 for that shoe.
Right. Because if it's a shoe that you like and you want and you wear, you're going to find it and you want to get it. But pro tip wise, we did notice there's some things that you better do, especially with new merchandise. If you're going to spend a lot of money for it, you're still going to quality control it the same way, right? And make sure that it's not malfunctioning or it's stained or icky or whatever. But 2 very important things. One is that
we almost made a goof.
Yeah, we made a big goof. So make sure that the sizes are correct, right? So in this pair of shoes, make sure they are both a size 12. Okay. The second biggie, and it doesn't matter the size, same size is important because that's caught us up in at Goodwill and used shoes as well. But make sure that you've got one right and one left foot, because we literally started grabbing these shoes and actually did Marshalls a solid, because I fixed their shoe rack because it was all icky, messed up. But we had 2 lefts on one of them. So we looked around and it ended up being, I think it ended up where we left behind like a pair that ended up being 2 lefts. Yeah. And then another one that was something else. But, so make sure the sizes are correct and that you've got one left and one right, or you're not going to be a happy thrifter sourcer when you get home.
Yeah. So those shoes, I mean, that's $150 to probably $200 in profit. $150 is kind of the bottom of what it will be. That would be like the worst case. And they'll definitely sell. And like we said, one listing won't take long. And Kaaren, I mean, with Karen's point about the right and the left, those stores don't have them in boxes when they're on clearance. So they just get mixed and matched everywhere. And those for sure did.
So they're going to be new other for those that are curious about that. You can't really call them just brand new because you don't have the box. So new other will suffice for these listings, right?
Yes. And we went to, where else did we go?
Ross,
we went to Ross stores right after that.
Right next door.
Was it right next door? Yeah, it was right next door.
We walked and it was cold, and
yeah, it was very cold. And we did pick up a couple more items. I'm going to show you one we did not pick up. I showed these on my Instagram. These were some really sweet looking Kobe's. They wanted $80 for them, but the problem was they were like a smaller size, like an 8.5. And they had a little bit of wear on the bottom where I guess people probably worn them around the store.
Like in-store wear.
Yeah. And because they'll sell for like $180. But at that size and with that kind of wear, I didn't really want to chance it for $80. It's like,
but we did agree.
They're beautiful shoes.
The next time we see this shoe, no matter what, we are going to buy it. Yeah, and that's not even a good picture. I mean, it's a good picture, but it doesn't nice do the shoes justice. Yeah, they're normally gorgeous.
They're normally $200 plus shoes. I mean, they're not cheap.
Yep. So, Ross.
What did we get at Ross?
So, cleatage, right?
Yeah, and I'll look them up.
Okay. So,
Nike cleats. So we've been learning that cleats are not something to sleep on, because a lot of these cleats
would be very uncomfortable to sleep on.
Oh, come on. A lot of these cleats are things that people will buy even out of season. And
these aren't the ones I thought.
They kind of run out, and all of a sudden they can't find them. So these are the
these are the Mike Trouts.
All right.
I don't know if you can see
Mike Trout, yep. Baseball player, right?
Yep.
What's the number? I'll look it up.
All right, so again, these do the same thing.
Nike has a nice 6-digit item number, and then there's a 3-digit color code after that.
I can't read that. What does that
I'll
say?
read it. 856503. So that's what I do when I look at these Nikes. Like there is a way to scan this code too, but it doesn't come up. It doesn't come up correctly for some reason.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't.
So this particular one, yeah, it did. So there's like 937 new listings under that style number, but of course we want sort of the red ones because they do matter. Pretty? 291 solds, and let me see if I can find. I like to sort by highest price first. I like to be optimistic. Is that the one? Trout 3.
It's the red ones.
Yeah, but what's the number?
Oh,
the
dash color code? 667 or something. Hold on.
Dash 667.
I don't know.
Dash 887.
887, sure.
Okay, so you see like the highest one of those there at the top. I don't know if you can.
It's just wonky. The light's catching it wrong. Yeah, that's better. That's better.
Yeah, you can see it was like $89, free shipping, so probably $10 to ship those. But we picked those up for
$12.99.
Were they 12 or they were 18?
$12.99.
So they were $13. You can show the price tag if you want.
Well, why wouldn't they believe me?
Well, they might not believe you. Who knows? So on that particular one, you're looking at, $89 for a sale price, $10 to ship. We paid what, $12.99, which is like probably like say $15 after tax.
Wait a minute, is this an 11 or 11 and a half?
Oh Lord, don't tell me.
I'm just kidding.
So you can see on that particular one, like our net profit should be
wrong tilt. Oh, there you go.
Somewhere around $52. So that's a great buy on those. And the other one we got from there, where these were the Nike Lunar Beast. I'm not as confident on these because
are these the ones I wanted to buy? I think I made you buy both of these. I don't remember this one. It has that weird Velcro.
These are huge, and I am kind of
like size 15 as well. My new size 15 friend, right?
This is Nike 847588. And I'm going to look up new.
You picked these out.
I picked these out. There's 50 listings new, but of solds, there's only 4, which kind of stinks. So the solds on these are kind of like, I don't know, $50, $60. I suspect there's a 35 plus shipping. There's a 39. There's basically a 40 plus shipping, a 35 plus shipping,
but not this color.
A 60 plus shipping, and a 50 plus free shipping. But there's not this color, and they are huge. I'm hoping they're going to be more like the 60 because we paid $18 for these. So I was like, it's kind of iffy. But if we get 60 for them, and we paid 18, which basically turns into 20 after tax, more or less. So we would net somewhere around $22, which is still greater than our 1X, which I'm happy with. But I told Kaaren, like that 1X rule, like trying to make that much profit on your shoe purchases, like that works until you get up to higher and higher dollar amounts, because then like if you pay $100 to make 50, that's still pretty good because it's $50 you're making on it. Like it's a lot of actual dollars. It doesn't matter that it's only 50% of what you paid for it. So the 1X rule is, I don't know how valuable the 1X rule is at higher amounts. I think at the lower amounts, it sort of makes sense. Like we're going to pay 30 for it. I'd like to make 30, maybe 25 at the bottom. If I pay 30 though, I don't want to just settle for 10 unless we could get a ton of them and we knew they would sell, because it's just, you wasted all this time just to make a smaller amount. So we're trying not to do that this year. We're trying to push up that average selling price, push up the margin, the actual margin dollars we're making, all those things. So those are a little bit more of a stretch. But that was at the Marsh Ross store.
Right. And then we went to a couple of Goodwills up there, and not so good.
They were not good wills.
No, they were not. So now we're going to go to the GB, the warehousey place?
Yes.
Okay.
On tile, on do you do signature required? I don't know what that means. I was trying to see some of these responses.
Questions and things?
Yeah. Yeah, and Marshall's is kind of a mixed bag. And I think Ross is too. Ross actually had a better selection.
Well, and somebody earlier on said something about Burlington Coat Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes that does work for us. We've got one that's fairly close to us that's meh, not so good. And then another one that's probably a little better. It's just sort of hit or miss.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have to kind of come up with a strategy for just hitting them on a regular basis, or else you'll go one time and not get anything. And if you let that sour you on them and never go back, you've probably missed some opportunity. Well,
and then didn't we end up at a second Marshall's at the end and didn't find anything?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and you actually almost bought a couple pair of jeans, but then didn't.
Yeah. So the next place we went was called GB Shoes, which stands, I think, for Georgia Boot.
Really?
Yep, they had their own boots there. This was in Hendersonville, North Carolina. This is the one, if you saw them on Instagram, said had 50,000 shoes. Well, now they got a few less because we bought some. But
oh, the silly continues. This
weekend. I don't know if really it was that high.
Hey, Turtle.
All right, so this particular place had it was a huge store. Like it was probably 20,000 square feet, maybe
I
bigger.
Was in shoe heaven. So all the biggies like Allegria, Dansko. We went there because we saw a billboard, and I said, we should probably check out. We're up here. Let's go see what it's all about.
Right.
Merrill, all of the ones that I absolutely love personally were there, and then some.
Yeah. So it had a lot of just regular price shoes that you could sign up for their discount club membership, which cost you nothing, and get more off on those. But we didn't really find any of those.
Right. And you accrue points, and then they mail you coupons.
Right.
And the coupons are unbelievable. It's like an extra 20, 30% off.
Yeah.
And they're grand. But they have at what's it called? Best of the rest. So the back wall is all of their get them out, clear them out prices. And a purple, it was either a purple or a green, right?
Purple was the most, yeah.
Your choices were either 80%, 75%, or what was the one
50.
Right below that, 50. So we decided that we wouldn't even look at the half offs because basically the half offs put us right back up to retail anyway. So there was no.
There wasn't a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot.
I mean, they probably overpriced a little bit and then hit you with the discount.
So there's really no room for us to make money on those half offs. So we purposely concentrated on the purples and found some really cool things. We learned a lot no matter what.
Yeah.
You agree, right?
This is my favorite new brand of
So we should do this one first. Just get the favorite right out of the way.
Let me tell you something. I know some of you already know about this brand and these items.
It's called Ooks.
It's not called Ooks.
It's called
Brooks. And Brooks makes a line of athletic shoes trainers, and they have all kinds of cool names like Ghost and so on. These are the Dyad 9.
Yeah.
So this particular one and there's a bunch of them that are good. Like a lot of these shoes new sell for well over $100. It is crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how good some of them were. But this particular one, when I look up Brooks Dyad, and it's this is the Dyad 9. Like they do versions of them, right? And this particular one, it has 577 results, 514 new, sold 38. You don't sell a ton of them, but this particular one, like there, you can see one of them, and that's the same shoe, guys, right there. You can see sold for $138 plus shipping. Now that's kind of like the high end. It's the highest one, but I see some more here for like 66 to 80, 80 to 81. These are new others. Here's another one for 138. You can see there. Crazy. And that's the same shoe.
And we paid $40.
$40. So I think it could easily go for maybe, I don't know. Let's say it even goes kind of like the lower end and goes for like 110. So we paid basically say 43. Shipping cost will be 10. We'll do 110 with even, free shipping. So at that kind of cost, and that sale, we would still net $43 on it, which is more than my 1X, or basically is my 1X. But there was tons of these. I couldn't just quite find the right one. That they were regularly $160. This particular pair of shoes, and they're brand new, nothing wrong with them.
And that's what they sold them for, $160.
So if you're out there, does that come around the box? It's like half Brooks. It was funny. My face just went like this. So if you're out there, check out Brooks. I don't know what they sell for pre-owned. Maybe somebody's got knowledge on that.
We've sold a couple pre-owned.
I think so. And pre-owned obviously is going to be less, but man,
we've always liked this one.
What a great brand. I just had totally forgotten about it until we saw them.
All right. So do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay. So this next one is a brand neither one of us have heard about, right?
Diba True.
Yep. And this particular shoe, these are girly, and they were both my idea.
Can I scan it? Does it have a thing?
It has a thing. That'd be cool. I didn't think it came up though.
Oh, it didn't come up. Nope. The barcode does not come up, but the thing will. The actual. What are the Diba True? What?
I don't know.
It's your thing here. You do it.
So I found them by just looking up kite.
Okay, kite tail.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
They're chestnut leather, but they're not an athletic shoe. They're a girly shoe, and they're a little bit bigger size. But this is it, right? Very simple. We ended up paying whatever quarter that is.
Yeah, not a huge result for these, but the only one we saw that sold was this one.
Can you see it? It's weird angle.
Which is $68.90.
Mm-hmm.
So we paid, what did we pay for them? 25 or a little less than 25,
a little less
actually.
Than 25.
So we paid, we'll say 25 with the tax. So at $98.60, we'll just say 98 just to make it simple. The item costs 25, shipping costs 10. So those should net somewhere around $50. So that's a 2X on your money. So, and I kind of think that makes sense. You get down to those lower and lower amounts, 1X should sort of be the floor. Like you want to net at least 1X what you paid. But if you can net 1.25 or 1.5 or 2, I mean, obviously that's even better. So that was a great find.
And, well, thank you, Prof. And one of the things that is a residual of the time that you spend when you're in a new location or a new sourcing spot or looking at a new niche is that whether you're purposeful about it or not, you're looking at these brands, you're looking them up, and you're going to retain some of that knowledge. So always the time that you're spending, you're learning as you go. So there were a lot of opportunities there for us to see brands because you're not a shoe guy, and me, I'm a shoe girl, but shoes that I wear. So this was an opportunity to get some shoe knowledge.
It was a size 9, Adam. I think somebody was asking. So
it was a little bit larger.
A little bit larger.
But just it's a pretty shoe, and it's all leather. But this one, the next one, is a great brand that I was already familiar with.
Yeah.
And you guys have probably heard of it too. Cobb Hill.
Did it scan or no?
I don't remember. You can try. No, it doesn't have a thingy, so it didn't. And this one's a wide.
What was it?
I don't know. Irene.
Cobb Hill Irene.
Oh, this might fit me, actually.
I tried to find Kaaren shoes yesterday. Full discllaimer. I did find her a
so
cool
sweet.
pair.
A cool pair of Merrells, and they were like little duck shoes or something, like little rain shoes. They were absolutely gorgeous, but they were too small. They were like an aqua blue, right?
Yeah, they were a little bit too small.
So this is it. This is the Irene, and it's got a little Velcro going. I'm going to go ahead and do it up.
I'm going to show them what it sells for. So probably on this Irene, somewhere around $71 free shipping. Although I think those would go, well, they won't go first class.
And is that a black one or a brown one?
It's a brown one. So black might actually go more.
Yep. So it's just a really pretty little shoe. And this particular one, we spent $27.50, right? One was $22.50.
Yeah,
one was
so it was,
$27.50.
so it's like $71. This one's a little bit lower. So we spent $27.50, and our profit on that one is probably more like $24.50. So a little bit lower, but still close to a 1X. And one of the things we say to guys all the time that we try to do, and I'm sure you guys already do it too, when you're in a store and you're already finding items, there's an opportunity cost to leaving without pulling some other items. And what I mean by that is, like, Kaaren could have put those shoes back because they technically were a little below the 1X rule, but we're already there. Like, we're already there and spending time and you know, so on. So if you can find something that you're already there that still makes sense, you know, profit wise, I mean, I will take a $27.50 profit per item all day long. No doubt about it. But anytime you're in a store and you're finding things, I'm not saying just buy junk. I'm not suggesting that, or buy things that are going to take too much work for the money you're going to make. But it's worth it to us to list a pair of shoes to make 24, 25, 26 bucks on profit.
Oh, sure.
It is. Even unless we got to pay some just crazy amount for it, and they were not a crazy amount. So,
so Adam asked, "Is GB Warehouse a regional
store?"
Yeah. So North Carolina, South Carolina is what she told us, right?
Yeah.
But if you look, I've seen them in my travels, these mega shoe warehousey places, or some of the true outlets. You know, what we call outlets nowadays are really not. They have their own, like, full-on retail pricing structure, right?
Right.
That doesn't reflect true outlet closeout at all. But yeah, hi Adam. But just look for something local that's that screams 50,000 pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be very similar.
So I would say our profits there, I didn't do the math on it, but it's got to be around $300.
Yeah, that's what you said in the car.
Somewhere around $300 profit. And it was a trip we were taking anyway.
Right.
It's not like we had to go make an extra trip to do that. We were already there, you know, and it'll take a little while to sell some of those. They're not going to sell overnight, but they'll just sit there and sell. We, fortunately, with the 5 that we got there all the same, that's kind of like 1 less listing we have to do, or 4 less listings we have to do.
Yeah, and we were pretty easy on ourselves. Like, we weren't, you know, it was a learning experience. So whenever we're going into something new, we're not going at it. I mean, I think we're as aggressive.
Just misspelled sourcing, I just realized. Our eBay shoe souring trip.
Exactly.
Typo, autocorrect, but I can't say that.
We were stuck in a car for sour hours. No. So no, Adam, it's kind of like a DSW, but not a national chain. Like, I struggle at DSW myself because their idea of clearance is not really clearance. And what they're doing is they're blowing out a lot of times the one, what's the one, the floor sample?
Yeah.
And I'm hard pressed to find something at the lowest or the highest discount.
What's that other one we tried at? It's near the Marshalls near us, kind of.
That's like a DSW. It's off Broadway.
It's off Broadway. Yeah, like, I don't know. There might be value there, but we've had no luck to this point.
No, and so look for something like that, but more local, and they're out there.
Yeah. The GB place is good. Mm-hmm. I mean, most of what you're going to find there is not going to be worth it.
Oh, well,
right?
I mean,
it's just like anything else.
For resale, sure.
But, you know, if you can walk in a store and have a reasonable expectation to walk out with $100 profit on a fairly regular basis, or maybe you're in there 30 minutes, that's worth it.
Well, and I would challenge you. One of the things that I like to do to keep current with jean brands is, with these fancy shoe stores that sell many different brands, go in there and bone up on your brand knowledge. Like, you'll stay current with what's selling,
right?
By just, you know, going through and looking, okay, this is what this logo looks like. And not everybody has a photographic memory like me. But seriously, just read it and look at it, and that'll help get that knowledge. I go to, like, when we go to Nordstrom's every now and then, we'll get a new brand there. But some of the higher end department stores help with whatever, you know, denim brands are new or trending as well.
Did you hit the GW outlets in Asheville? No, we were at the one that has
the retailing.
I'll think of the road here in a minute, but yeah, we were at the one that has the retail beside it, and we did go in the retail. The bin sourcing, like, it just doesn't fit with the model that we're going for.
No.
She wanted to go in. I told her, you go ahead, I'll wait in the car. I really did.
He was over it by that time, I think.
I was like, I am done. Well, it wasn't that. It's just like, I just didn't want to go in there to find a bunch of, like, you know, $12 and $15 items.
Well, and by the time we got to that Goodwill, we'd already been to what? How many Goodwills did we go to? Like 3 or 2?
We went to 1, 2, at least 2, maybe 3. So
by then we'd already gone through, and we'd literally gone through and found nothing. Like there was really nothing good on the shoes, and they had a lot of like shelf pulls from Target or Walmart or something. Right. So we kind of had to slog through a bunch of that. So by then you were pretty much over it.
Yeah, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, I know at these other stores, there's potential to go make a lot of profit. And here I am scrounging around in this Goodwill for, $6 profit.
Well, and you had tasked yourself with the whole point of that trip was you were going to buy higher at retail places to try to raise your prices.
You kind of got to just do that, because if you don't, and you think, well, I'm just going to keep going to the same places I've been sourcing and hope to find these magical items that'll sell for $50 average selling price, you're not going to have a lot of luck doing that. I mean, it's just challenging. Like we were talking about that today. How often could you walk into a Goodwill and what quantity could you find $50 plus items that would sell for more than $50 pre-owned for the most part? I mean, occasionally you'll find some new with tags, right? I mean, it does happen. But how often, with what frequency, what volume could you find $50 average selling price items in most Goodwills? And I just don't think you will. Not regularly and not in a lot of volume. Are they there? Of course they are. And I'm talking clothing here. Now, if you're talking about hard goods and electronics and things like that, that's different. But I'm talking about pre-owned, for the most part, clothing. It's a challenge.
Sure.
It's a challenge. And the only way I don't know that we could do it. I think you might find some, but you're not going to find a lot.
So there's lots of questions. What did Zena say?
Zena said, what has been your shoe return rate? Not that high.
And with newer shoes, it's even less.
I feel like we've gotten less than 5 shoes back in the last year. Returned.
Yep.
So it hasn't been that high. One of the things that's different, I think, with shoes is because they don't stretch or get worn. If people know their size legitimately, then it should be right.
Whatever happened with that woman that asked about the Merrells? Like, do Merrells run big or small? You remember that? Whatever happened with that one?
I just sent her a link to the Merrell website. And
Did she buy the shoes, though?
No.
There you go.
I didn't think she would.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's been pretty good. Pretty low return rate. How did you come through Hickory and not say hello to Barry?
Oh, we didn't drive through Barry. We didn't drive through
Hickory.
Next time we will. We actually took, where did we come from?
We came from like Lake Norman area.
Yeah, and we actually went around the lower side of the lake.
Yeah, we went over like up 16, and it was all different ways. So we didn't even go into Hickory. Really.
Next time we will stop and say hello. We'll make a point, I promise.
Nor did we come back through Hickory.
No, we didn't. And speaking of returns, are you going to talk about that coat, that guy in that coat? Or are we going to?
Oh, I don't know.
There's a possible return on our way. An INAD is how it started. That's item not as described.
Yeah, I got an INAD return request the other day, and for a suit coat. It was actually the one we joked about putting in a padded flat rate, which we actually didn't do.
Yeah, we didn't. We ended up sending it.
And the guy was just saying it wasn't the size it said it was, and I tried to kind of pin him down, see if he'd really read the description, which had the measurements in it, but it became pretty clear that he had not. So eventually, I just kind of went back and forth with him a couple times. He's like, why are you giving me a hard time? I'm like, and I wasn't. Like, I was totally nice. And, I just said, whatever. What are you doing?
You're way over there.
Oh, I didn't know what you're telling me. You're pushing me something.
You're asymmetrical.
Right. Rhiannon asks, do you guys do a lot of cleats? Well, we have some we did back here. I don't know about doing kids' cleats. Like that. I don't know what all. I mean, kids' cleats can be expensive new. I don't think I would sell any kids' cleats pre-owned through eBay. I mean, I don't know what they sell for, but I just don't think they would sell for a lot. But new, maybe you would find some, especially as you get to like in the older ages too, like in the teen years and so on, because their cleats tend to be more expensive and they tend to want a little more use out of them. I mean, they're not like, 7 years old running around on a soccer field. They don't really need, $150 pair of cleats. I mean, I know sometimes parents buy them, but ultimately they just need something to get through a season. Who knows if they'll even keep playing.
Yeah, and historically we stay away from kid size anything or even junior size anything. Yeah. Because the price is just not there.
Prices aren't super great on most kids' items.
So I have more show and tell.
All right.
So, we kind of go back and forth and we joke about, I'm the shipping department around here. And I tried the, using a poly mailer to make I won't show that. It's not my first rodeo. But I sometimes will actually ship a pair of shoes in its real box, and I wrap it with craft paper really, 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 really good, and I put tape all the way around it. And I just wanted to show you, because we're asked all the time, well, Kaaren, what does that look like? And I am the tape mistress, right? So you'll know it's a shoe from me because I will X marks the spot on the back, and then I'll reinforce the corners because this is just personal preference and personal experience. Like, if the bag, even on some of our poly mailers, I'll tape off the ends, because in my brain, that's an opportunity for it to get stuck on machinery or something. And I don't want to risk that. Like, I'm also thinking when I'm shipping and packaging something up to go out, what's it going to look like when it finally gets there?
Yeah.
You know, the other day we shipped some boots to California. Some boots went to Puerto Rico. And I did this exact same thing where, and then I'll frame it with eBay on the front. But I want to make sure that the edges and the corners are good, and they're not going to go anywhere. So that's what the Kaaren.
That looks great.
That's what and yes, I use lots of tape, but I paid for it, so I can do that.
Adam asked, what's the average sell-through rate? 60, 90 days. You know, new shoes, it's kind of, so really the only, with new shoes, which the only reference I have is the consignment items, because they are new. They're selling. I mean, I don't really have enough data to sit here and tell you what it is, but I mean, we've sold quite a few of them in the first 30 days. And I don't know what it's going to, like I said, I don't know what it's going to play out in terms of how long it will actually, you know, how many, you start with 100, how many new shoes will you have at the end of, say, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? I'm not sure yet. Because I need more time to see that. But I feel like the new shoe sell-through rate is significantly higher than the pre-owned shoe sell-through rate. I could be wrong about that, but from initial indications, that seems to be the case. That was a waffling answer if there ever was one. Well, I don't know. Love the craft paper. Where do you guys get yours? I get mine at Lowe's. That's a good question. I think you got it off at Amazon, didn't you?
This was a present years ago, right?
She's like, surprise, craft paper. I'm like, yes.
When it was a gift, I was supporting you.
I was happy
in your new business.
And
ventures.
I'm happy. And I was happy then. I'm happy about it now.
And we're actually gonna buy the paper that we use is too long. I want it to be a little shorter. It is.
You can cut it.
I do cut it, and then I have all this extra. You know what? Talk to the hand, because I'm the shipping department, and yeah, if I say it's too long, it's too long. But I want to get a rack to put it on so it's easier to pull, and you actually, it has a thing. Oh, yeah. You pull it up and it rips it off, and then you go from there. But you want to make sure if you're going to ship that way, if you use too thin a craft paper, it will certainly rip. And so it's a trade-off. If you're buying your craft paper to use for filler, void, or packing, then you want a lighter weight, because that darn paper is heavy.
It does make good packing filler, though. It really does. If you don't, in a pinch, if you don't have anything else. So does a cardboard box. You can kind of fold a box around and make that, or a piece of a box. Yeah.
The problem with cardboard, though, is that weighs the most. So in the hierarchy of what we use for packing, cardboard is going to be way on that end. Then the craft paper, and then popcorn peanuts, we'll use those sometimes, styrofoam peanuts, and then we've got tissue paper that we use as well. And the tissue paper comes in handy on some of these new shoes. I can wrap them in, and it just makes for a nice presentation.
Yeah, like you just showed. That was nice. I mean, it looks great.
Thank you.
And I think people will respect that. So they'll say, oh, that looks great. So the perception is you cared about their product. So they'll be more receptive to, giving you good feedback and hopefully not returning the item. So anyway, what else you got?
Michelle wants to call the hand thingy.
Oh,
and then what does that say?
How was the trip?
Oh, the trip was awesome.
Scroll back.
Yeah, drummer, come on now.
We talked about it.
So there's one more thing for show and tell, and it's Paul, right? Paul Del Rio, is that right? Delio, sorry.
Oh yeah.
But so we finally sold our first pair, Jason's first pair of Luckies, and I think I wasn't here that day, so when the cat's away, right? I think somehow he got guilted into buying them. I don't know how it came around to be, but in the last show,
I didn't make him do it.
The thought was he was going to buy Jason's first pair of Luckies, and we're going to autograph them. Luke, in fact, when we're done here, we're going to go see Luke from Endless Entrepreneurs, and he's going to autograph them, and then we're going to send them down to Paul, and then a whole bunch of other people are going to sign them and stuff. But so here's the first installment, and look at that. Oh, isn't that pretty?
By the way, we're going to ship this out tomorrow, which is technically a day late.
Yeah, Paul, don't give us negative feedback.
Well, it's not
please.
Up to him. It is what it is.
Please
like it's
give
going to be
us
shipped
nice
out a day
feedback.
late.
But I'm very excited. I think this is a neat idea, but they're going to go all over the place and everybody's going to sign them. And I don't know what's going to happen ultimately. Like, what's the plan? Like, what's the end game for these jeans?
I don't know. He can talk about that.
Oh, well, there you
don't
go.
steal his thunder. Come on.
Am I stealing thunder?
You're a thunder stealer. Kind of like the ones from Pittsburgh. Steeler. Yeah. Never mind. How does the return rate compare between G's? But
Jesus.
Between jeans
it is Sunday.
and shoes. I think it might be higher with jeans. Believe it or not. I really do.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have enough shoe data to tell you that 100%, but I feel like it might actually be higher with jeans. So, but somebody else can maybe somebody else who has experience selling a lot of both could chime in on that as too. Will the buyer resell the jeans? Well, they're going to be all autographed. Like they're going to be, then again, they'll be priceless at that point. I mean, the people's names are going to be on there. Auction them for charity, maybe. I don't know. It's up to Paul. It's totally up to him. So it was pretty cool that he bought them. So I'm excited.
We thank him for that. We finally sold the first pair of jeans because we made people feel sorry for us.
All right. Okay. This has been fun, but we got to get out of here. We got stuff to do.
We got work to do.
We're working on a Sunday. What are you people doing?
I'm sure they're working as well.
Yeah, they are working. So, but thanks you guys for hanging out with us. We enjoyed it. Hopefully you caught some cool items maybe you can be on the lookout for, and better yet, a mindset to approach, maybe sourcing at retail stores.
Always learning, always getting better for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, check out the description below. There's all kinds of helpful links down below this video with all kinds of things that'll help you in your business.
If it's your first time, consider subscribing and hitting that alarm clock so it'll tell you when we're on.
I thought you were going to say hitting the...
What? Smash the like button.
Oh, we almost didn't get it.
No, we haven't said it the whole time. But definitely check us out. We're, sometimes we show up on Sundays just randomly. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you probably tomorrow.
This is Just Ask Kaaren.
PROF Sales.
Saying
good sales to you.